Hey everybody, today we're talking about street versus book learning, the difference between the two and how they work together. And one of the things that I think it gets overlooked a lot on YouTube, I don't see it a lot at all, are things that you never learn in music school, that you won't learn from YouTube. You won't even learn from a really good teacher. And this is stuff you only learn from experience. So I'm going to share some of my war stories with you today with some real life examples and give you some takeaways. Off the top of my head, 3 things that you'll never learn in a music school are: 1, what not to play; 2, working with a singer; and 3, how to read the room, the whole game, the whole mental game, which is a whole nother deal. I'm going to get into all that and more. So check this out. Exhibit A. Why are you playing Sarah Smile? Let me tell you. So a couple of years ago, I was at Carnegie Hall with Daryl Hall and Todd Rundgren, playing with both of them. And during Daryl's set, we do Sarah Smile. Now, the way we do it live is Daryl plays like a 20-second solo piano thing, a little impromptu, improvised thing in D minor. Very important. That's the key. D minor. Now, I don't have perfect pitch, but my pitch is good enough to know within hearing Daryl noodle for a bar, he's in the wrong damn key. And I was able to ascertain he's in D sharp minor. It's like, shit. So I had about 10 seconds to figure out, to retool that intro, which is a little quirky on its own. And also, there's some other things. There's some octave parts gone. Those kind of things, the string lines that I play on guitar, and cue the rest of the band, because I'm the musical director. I had to tell Charlie DeShant, who's way on the other friggin' side of the stage, give him a heads up that, hey, there's a train coming. It's about to derail. So everybody got the message, and we were able to recalibrate. Daryl gives me a visual cue, totally oblivious, playing in D sharp minor, and he goes 2, 3, 4. Now Daryl's got good ears, and as soon as he heard the band come in on that new bright key, he looked at me and he goes, "Oops." And he had to sing it up a half step, but we were able to do it. And that's one of the things that you won't learn how to, do that in a school, whatever. It's just experience. And that little intro is not that. It's got some little twists and turns in there. But my book learning came in because I knew those string lines. Yeah, it's sort of a D natural minor with that 7 in there. So I was able to transpose it, and you kind of trust you trust your ear and you hope for the best, Being able to read the room, that's a whole nother thing. And I'll give you another example. I've told this story before, but it's a good lesson. It was a good lesson for me. I was about 24. I started playing with the Neville Brothers. It was about my first week in the band. And we were doing this tune called One Love, Bob Marley, and People Get Ready, Curtis Mayfield. It was a medley. And we'd started off with One Love, and the guitar would start it completely cold, and it was kind of like this. It's been a long time. Something like that. I start playing it. The drummer's doing his hi-hat time, and he just looks at me, and he's like this. He's like immediately. Cyril Neville starts singing. He turns to me. He's kind of giving me a weird eye. And I get off stage now. There's 4 Neville brothers. Cyril comes up to me. He goes, "Hey, little brother, listen. Everything's hip, but that I can't sing that tune. It's too slow. You got to pick it up." I know. Sorry, man. All right, I got it. The drummer was like, "Bro, you got to listen to that shit. It's not happening." All right, got it. Aaron Neville comes to me. "Hey, man, everything's cool, but look, that tune. I know, I got it. Charlie Neville comes up to me, sax player. "Shane Terriot," that's what he always called me. "Shane Terriot, play that shit faster, bro. That shit's wrong." "Hey, I'm going to listen to it. Don't worry, Charlie. I got it. Art Neville comes up to me. He's the most intimidating one. The oldest Neville brother. Got the cigarette, Mr. Cool. They call him Papa Funk. He goes, "Say, bro, One Love. I said, I know, Art. He goes, no, that shit was cold-blooded. Do not move that tempo. Keep it just like that. It is locked. He goes, that shit was treacherous. He loved to say that word, treacherous. Actually, there's a Meters record called Treacherous, a box set. But I was just like, oh, shit, what do I do? I remember going back to my hotel room just so stressed out about it. How to read the room. How do you read four brothers? And I did it. I don't know how I did it. The next day, I think I just was able to sweet talk a couple of them, and I figured out a tempo that worked for everybody. But those skills early on, man, they were invaluable much later on in my career, 30 years going on now, as just being a pro, not a guitar player, not doing anything else, not having a real job. And I'll give you another example of knowing when not to play, how to back up a singer. Again, I was about 21, 22. I was playing with Slim Whitman. It was one of my first gigs in Nashville. Yes, Slim Whitman. But I'll tell you, I learned so much on that gig from Harold Bradley, the great Harold Bradley. He was one of the most recorded guitar players in history. Pretty Woman, Patsy Cline, Crazy, all that stuff. And I'm playing a lot of his fills behind Slim. And Slim is singing. Now, Slim's almost 80 years old at this point. And he could see me kind of struggling with the fills. And he turned to me and he goes, hey, kid. And I look at him and he goes, it's so simple, it's hard, isn't it? And that quote, I never forgot that quote. It made a big impact on me. All of a sudden, for some reason, I just instinctively knew more how to play behind him. And I just figured out, leave space. Don't play on his vocal. Let him finish a phrase. You don't always have to fill every hole. There's a big one. So Slim would sing some kind of crooner phrase, and and I would go, something simple, maybe one note, and just lift his vocal phrase. And he would turn around and look at me, and that's when you know you done good. All right, so I try to get that look for the next 30 years with different singers. Hey, if you guys get something out of this and you like these stories, and there's plenty of other instructional things on here I give for free, tons of stuff now in the year and a half I've been doing this, give me a like, subscribe, recommend it, share it, whatever, what have you. I really appreciate you just taking the time, clicking the subscribe. Help me to continue to build the channel. Thanks. And being able to, be thrown into the fire, it does something for your learning curve. It's different. You sit at home, you watch videos from me or whoever on YouTube. It's great. You can learn stuff that I wish I had as a kid. All of that is great. That's the book learning. When you get on the stage, that's the street. And that, when you learn on the street, you learn being able to be thrown in the fire like that. It's sink or swim. Your learning curve gets to be an exponential level of curve at that point. You're just boom. Like, for instance, imagine you're stranded in a foreign country. You've been studying your Rosetta Stone for a year. You think you can hang. All of a sudden, you don't have a credit card, you don't have a phone, and you're dropped in a foreign country for a day. Somebody steals your wallet or whatever, and you got to improvise with the 30 words you know. Believe me, you're going to be a much better foreign language speaker by the end of that day because you've been thrown into the fire. That's what I'm talking about here. So if you're in the middle of Iowa somewhere and you don't have bands to play with, get together with whoever you can. Playing with other people is worth hours and hours and hours of sitting by yourself playing. That's good for the book learning, but you got to do something with it, Within 1 week, I remember a few years ago, it was kind of crazy. I was thrown in a lot of situations where one day Daryl and I were playing with Marty Stewart, just Daryl and I. He wanted Marty on his at his club, so he goes, "We're going to play with Marty, call him up." I was like, "Do you know Marty Stewart, Daryl?" "Nope, never met him." Get his number, and so I had to figure out how to get his number, call him. So all of a sudden, Daryl and I are playing with Marty Stewart, learning these songs and stuff. And then the next night, we're in Philadelphia, and Chubby Checker is backstage. We're about to go on stage in 10 minutes in an arena with Hall & Oates. And Chubby's like, Daryl was like, let's do the twist with Chubby, so figure it out. So I had to sit there with Chubby, and then we get on stage and play the twist. And a few days later, we're doing Cheap Trick, and I'm herding cats with these guys, cueing Rick Nielsen, and it's just crazy, man. But those sort of chops would never happen had I not had those early lessons, the formative years of being just intimidated, thrown into the fire, and coming out swinging. That's what you got to do. The OJs were on Daryl's house a while back. That was an interesting episode because Daryl, I remember he told me, he's like, the OJs are going to be on the show. I said, great, Daryl, that's cool. And he goes, yeah, I don't want to do any of those shitty Vegas medleys. He goes, I want to go back to the roots, do the record song. So tell him we're doing the record. So there's a picture of me breaking the good news to the OJs, who are, kind of like the Nevilles, man. They're intimidating cats. Sweethearts, though. But telling them, hey, we're going to play your tunes the way you did them originally. And not being intimidated by it and having the confidence to pull it off. It's a lot. And you can know all the scales in the world. You can know all the theory in the world. But, man, if you don't have that, I don't know. It's a different level of stuff. As far as being a pro, I'll give you another example. Things you weren't learn in music school. This happened fairly recently. We were backing up an artist on Live from Daryl's House, and or was it in a studio? I don't remember exactly. But the singer jumped a beat. Now I know you've probably played with singers where they skip a beat, or they were in time. They were just the wrong beat, like a beat ahead. So having a great drummer to play with is, man, that's worth everything. And luckily, I play with the greatest drummers ever. I'm fortunate that way. But I remember looking at the drummer and cueing him, and we just sort of made this visual thing that we were going to adjust the beat. We were going to take the grid and just shift it, and the singer wouldn't even move. So it's kind of like pulling the rug underneath the singer. And so we were playing something, maybe it's like 4/4, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We just shifted the beat, and the singer didn't even know. It was like a chiropractic, adjustment. Those are things you just learn from doing this for years, and just a couple things. I don't hear a lot of guys on YouTube discuss this. I'm sure there are, but having a good sense of rhythm, a good sense of time is something you work on at home. And then once you get on the bandstand, man, all that stuff, you got to forget about it and just go with it, Especially if you're working on a television show where there's cameras in your face, you got to, try to look cool on camera, and the music thing comes secondary. So you don't want to be staring down at your pedals and having some sort of personality. I remember Harold Bradley, again, old school Nashville cat. We were working with Slim, and he told me, he's like, when Slim tells a joke, you should act like you're interested in the joke. That's part of your gig, man. You're on stage. And this was an old school cat from the 40s and 50s and 60s telling me this. And I mean, these are lessons that you don't really learn. I mean, it seems like common sense now, but back then I remember thinking, wow, I would have never thought about that. It seems silly, but... So to summarize, to me, the best players are a mix of street versus book learning. You put them together, you marinate, you bake them, and the baking part would be being on stage and allowing it to come to fruition, and bloom and blossom. And that's how that happens. So get together with some guys in your town, guys and gals. You get together at a blues jam, whatever. Put yourself in situations that you feel a little uncomfortable, but you can hang. You're going to rise up to it. You can do better than you think. And you'll come out swinging harder than before. All right, that's what I got. I got some lessons out there, roots of rhythm, deep pockets, a lot of satisfied customers. I got another one on the way too. Roots of rhythm is a great if you're like an intermediate, and deep pockets is intermediate, and it taps into some other things. Both of them are great rhythm courses. I have one called Pentatonic Power. Shows you how to break out of those ruts. And I have a freebie for you, how to build an effective practice schedule. That's a free download if you sign up for my list. It's an ebook. It's 10 or 11 pages. Pretty cool if you ask me. So I'll leave you with this link to another video called How to Play Behind Singers that I did that I think was pretty good. It's packed with tons of other examples that I just talked about. So if you dug this, you'll dig that. All right, I'll see you soon. That's what I got. Stay funky. Shane T out.